Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and welcome back today to another video. It's another episode of In Other News. Today, the show where we sit down and we talk about the latest Everton news, the news that we haven't spoken about over the last couple of days that might have gone a little bit under the radar. And there's no bigger news than the news that Everton have now taken possession of the Bramley-Moore dock site and will prepare for building works to start on Everton's brand new stadium. Everton officially took control of and possession of the site on Monday, and of course there will be a number of tests and a number of things in place before Everton start to build on the site. The dock will need filling in for example, and various other things as well. But the best and biggest news is that Everton have taken possession of Bramley-Moore dock. So for anybody that was thinking that this stadium wasn't going to get built, or it wasn't going to happen, or still had doubts even after the planning permission was granted, even after the government decided to not step in, even after, you know, UNESCO decided to walk away from Liverpool as a World Heritage City because of the new stadium, if you still had any doubts regarding the building of the new stadium, Everton have taken possession of the site over the last couple of days. Everton Stadium Development Director Colin Chong released the following statement regarding the new stadium. He has said, "Thank you. Firstly, I would like to thank you for your support over the past years. While it has not been an easy or quick process to secure planning permission, we simply would not have reached this monumentous point without the backing of Evertonians and the support of the people of our city region. I am proud of our achievements to date and grateful to the board and Mr. Mashiri for their continued commitment and investment in our club's future. It is an honour to be leading a dedicated project team of Everton staff who, like me, are delighted to receive the keys for the site and alongside Lang O'Rourke begin the process of building a stadium Evertonians will call home for generations to come. While this is a significant occasion for the club, I would urge supporters not to attempt to access the site. There is and will continue to be a lot of heavy goods vehicles arriving, delivering plant, equipment and supplies. There will be no public access through the gates at Bramley-Moore dock, and the health and safety of everybody on site is a priority. In the coming weeks, we will be installing a web camera, allowing you to see live images of what is happening at the site. In addition to the webcam, we will also be launching a new project website, which will house all of our latest news and which will act as the portal for any questions you may have for us, which is brilliant. We'll get into the details and the depths of that statement in just a second. He also went on to say, preserving, restoring and celebrating heritage. He said there has been a lot of talk about heritage this week, but we have been clear throughout our planning that respecting and enhancing heritage has always been one of our key principles. Our commitment to bringing the dock's heritage features to life has not changed, and we will be investing more than 55 million to preserve, restore and celebrate the heritage assets at Bramley-Moore dock. Indeed, this process has started already by repairing the listed dock wall, and in the coming days we will begin stabilising the hydraulic tower. Once construction is complete, we will be opening the inaccessible site up to the public for the first time in decades, allowing people to appreciate its heritage. As you may be aware, the hydraulic tower will become a visitor centre on both match days and non-match days, and we'll be retaining the cobbles, campstons, mooring posts, gratings and railway lines, and where possible incorporating them into our design. The water channel that visually connects the neighbouring docks will be retained in honour of the Jesse Hartley's interconnecting dock system, and with the dock walls preserved under the stadium should we ever move from this site in the future. This site could actually be reverse engineered back into a dock. Madness. Hopefully it doesn't get reverse engineered back into a dock, because hopefully Everton stay in it for a long time. But there you go. He also says, keeping updated on our progress. I mentioned how crucial your involvement has been so far, and I want to reiterate how crucial it will be going forward. We will continue working with supporter groups to ensure all aspects of our plans are built around our fans' hopes and expectations, and we will be contacting all of our supporters with details about ticketing, timelines and processes in the next few months. From next month, our new website will become your first port of call for news and information about our progress, and we will be sending you regular e-newsletters and publishing podcasts from the autumn. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy the start of the 2021-2022 season as we begin the formal countdown to our move to our new home on the banks of the Mersey. Come on, you Blues, Colin. Now that is just unbelievable, isn't it? A lot to take in from that statement, an awful lot to take in there from Colin Chong, and again, a statement that you sort of read out, whether you read it in your head, whether you read it out loud, and you instantly get this feeling of sort of pride and you know, this feeling of honour and you know, to be an Evertonian and to be witnessing this, because let's not get it twisted. We can all talk about Everton being a football club, and we know that Everton's a football club and football is first, and we all want to see Everton win trophies, and we all want to see Everton playing in Europe and signing the best players and being the most successful club in the world. Of course we do, and you know, Everton are a football club at the end of the day, so what happens on the football pitch is the most important. But the reality of the situation is the building of Bramley-Moore Stadium and this process that we're currently going through is one of, if not the most historical moments in the club's recent history, and probably the most historical moment any of us will ever witness as Evertonians. Goodison Park's been standing for over 100 years, and you know, not a lot of people, well, I'd say nobody that was there to witness Goodison Park being built is alive to this day to tell that story. So, you know, as Evertonians now, this really is a historical and monumental, you know, sort of position that we're in, because we'll witness a brand new stadium being built from the very start of you know, an idea being thrown about in a boardroom, or an idea being thrown out to fans, and to looking at sites, to acquiring a site, to gaining planning permission, to filling the dock in, and obviously transforming this dock into what is going to be one of the best, in my opinion, the best stadium in world football, and we'll all get to witness that as Evertonians. As Colin Chong says, the formal countdown begins now, and it's going to be purely amazing, isn't it? Look, we all hope that by the time Bramley-Moore Dock's built and Everton are moving into it, you know, we're successful as a football club. We hope that Rafael Benitez has won us, you know, trophy after trophy after trophy, and Rafael Benitez has got us into Europe, and you know, we're competing at the top end of the league. Of course we hope for that, and I know some fans will say, Cam, stadium's great, yeah, all that, but it's about what's happening on the pitch. It's the football that counts, and you're absolutely spot on, but we cannot, you know, sort of underestimate how historic, you know, certainly Monday was, because Monday was the day that Everton received the keys effectively to Bramley-Moore Dock and took possession of the site, and now things can start to get built. Now you'll see, you know, sort of equipment on the site, you'll see materials being delivered, you'll see the old spade in the ground, as a lot of people have been talking about over the last few months and years. You'll actually start to see this stadium formally being built, and we'll witness this firsthand. It won't be just a, you know, a visualization anymore, or images that we're seeing on the internet. We'll actually start to see these images and these sorts of dreams come to life and come true, and that's absolutely amazing to even think about, and I cannot wait to see it. Another point obviously made in the statement is that Everton are looking to install a web camera so that fans can watch live sort of updates of the stadium's progress. I think this is an absolutely amazing idea. I really, really do. It says in the coming weeks we'll be installing a web camera allowing you to see live images of what is happening at the site. In addition to the webcam, we will also be launching a new project website which will house all of the latest news and which will act as a portal for any questions you may have. So I think that's a brilliant idea, absolutely brilliant idea that Everton are installing, you know, a webcam. I assume it'll probably be just a generic webcam at the top of a crane, probably a bird's eye view, maybe there'll be a couple of different angles, and we'll be able to log on at any point and look at the progress of the dock. And you might think now, well, yeah, well, what's the point, Cam? Because if they're just going to put a webcam on there and we all log in on a, you know, on a random day in October, and we see a couple of diggers there, or you know, maybe a bit of cement and a bit of sand, you know, why does anybody want to see that? But the reality is, this means that this is being filmed, and it means that when the stadium is built in, you know, 3 or 4 years time, and we're all sitting here and we're looking forward to our first, you know, season in Bramley-Moore, there'll be a video released. Hopefully there'll be a video released from the club of a time lapse of from the first day that the stadium was the land was acquired to a completely sort of, you know, like I said, a dock that hasn't been filled in and has not got any material on it, and is absolutely, you know, sort of default and as plain as can be, to obviously going throughout that whole process into a brand spanking new, absolutely unbelievable stadium. And hopefully we'll be able to see that entire progress in one sort of time-lapse video, which will be absolutely amazing to see. Plus also, I think it's a really good idea that the club are allowing fans to go on at any point and have a little look at the progress, have a little look where things are up to, what's being built today, what's being worked on, you know, try and see the stadium sort of taking you know, see the stadium build taking place, and see it being built and starting to work out what's what and where things are going to be. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of days where not much happens, but there'll also be a lot of days where you go on and you go, oh yeah, I can tell that this is the, you know, the north stand now, or this is where the steps are going to be, or this is where, you know, this shop's going to be there, and you can see the way that the club, you know, it sort of introducing this and that and the other, and I just think it's an absolutely fantastic idea. I also think it's a great idea launching a completely separate website to Everton Football Club's website in order to house any questions and any updates. I just think it separates it nicely. It doesn't become congested, because I assume there's going to be a lot of updates over the coming months and certainly years regarding Bramley-Moore dock. Like I said, live images, questions being asked, and it just means that it's separate from the club side of things, where obviously there'll be a lot of stuff about the players and the season and you know, various other bits of news. I think it allows fans a place to go over and just solely be talking about the stadium and be, you know, finding out things about the stadium and where the stadium's up to and what's going on with that. And I just think it's a lot more accessible to fans. So absolutely brilliant news there. Fantastic statement by Colin Chong. And like I said, the biggest news of the week is that Everton have taken possession of the Bramley-Moore dock site and will now begin the process of building the new stadium. Works will begin in various different, you know, manners, so don't expect to turn up next week and see a full stand built already. Obviously all of that is months and maybe even years away, but you know, the various bits of work that need to be doing, the dock being filling in for one, you know, one of the things. Obviously Colin Chong talks about the hydraulic tower there, and you know, maintaining that and getting that to a point, you know, where fans can you know, come in once the site's you know, accessible and opened up, and look at the, you know, the way that's being incorporated and various other different bits and bobs. So absolutely fantastic news. I have got a bit of sort of information about the works in itself and what we can expect to see from that. Bear with me 2 seconds and I will get those up. So the club will now prepare the site over the next few weeks to build infilling of the dock, likely autumn. This is coming from Paddy Boyland of The Athletic. Paddy Boyland also says, have begun repairing the dock wall and carried out surveys below the water and expect to formally break the ground early August. So there you go. There's a brilliant update regarding that as well, which I actually think is really interesting, and hopefully like I said, we really do start to see that progress. So absolutely unbelievable news, biggest news of the week, and a very historical week for Everton Football Club. And certainly Monday was a very historical day in the history of Everton. Not only did we win the Florida Cup, our first trophy in 25 years, we also acquired the possession of the new stadium, or the site of the new stadium, and now we'll actually really start to see works you know, moving and progressing over the next coming months and years. So absolutely brilliant news regarding that. Let us know your thoughts on the stadium in the comment section down below, and let us know your thoughts on Colin Chong's statement as well. Did you think it was a good statement? Have you got any questions? Have you got any queries? Let us know in the comments. Andros Townsend has been speaking after Everton's victory against Millonarios on Monday morning. Everton, of course, victorious on penalties, 10 penalties to 9. Asmir Begovic scoring the final one for Everton, and then saving Millonarios' final penalty to crown Everton Florida Cup winners. Andros Townsend, of course, featured for the first 45 minutes in that game. Hit the post with an absolutely fantastic effort with his left foot, curling in from the left-hand side. Brilliant effort. Oh, sorry, from the right-hand side. Brilliant effort. Very unlucky not to score. Thought he was quite lively in the first 45 minutes. Obviously, debut in an Everton shirt. He has been speaking after the game. He said, I'm very fortunate playing with world-class players. They're getting me into good positions, and hopefully I can just hit one a little bit lower next time and open my account for this famous club. So obviously talking about that shot that hit the post. He also said, I need to keep improving. I know the manager well, and I'm sure he'll go through the tape of the game with me and show me any good parts. Show me my good parts, and more importantly, my bad parts, so I can improve and help this club in any way possible. He also said, when I speak to him, he'll be telling me what I could have done better and the positions he wants me to pick up. He wants me to keep improving. He wants to keep improving players, and that's why I had such a good spell with him at Newcastle. Hopefully, I can have similar success here. So fantastic to hear from Andros Townsend. And look, I think one thing that I think we've all been massively pleased with, you know, from Andros Townsend is the way he speaks, the way, you know, he puts himself out there, and the things in which he says. Very impressed with his first interview as an Everton player. Obviously, the day he signed, he sat down with Everton FC, you know, Everton TV on YouTube, and he spoke very highly of the football club. I think he mentioned, you know, Daniel Levy telling him when he left Spurs that it's very, very difficult to get back to a big club, and he said he was right, Daniel Levy was right, but now I'm finally back at a big club. And just, you know, sort of little phrases and ways of saying things like that just really, really sit well, don't they, in the hearts of us as fans. And again, he said another one there, hopefully I can hit one a little bit lower and open me scoring for this famous club. Just little tiny words and phrases that I know we all sit here every time and say, let's not get emotionally connected to players, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but it's things like that that we want to hear, don't we? Let's be honest, we want players at the football club who want to be here, who want to play for the football club, who want to fight, who care, who are happy to be here. And Andros Townsend, and we've known this from when he signed, Andros Townsend will be absolutely made up to be here. He'll probably be sitting there in Florida now thinking, how have I managed this? I've gone from leaving Crystal Palace at the end of my contract, not getting given a new contract, could have potentially, you know, signed for the lower table Premier League club or maybe even a Championship club, but somehow he's got into Everton, one of the most historic football clubs in the world, certainly one of the most historical football clubs in England, playing alongside the likes of James Rodriguez, will be playing alongside the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. And I know, look, you know, Andros is signed for Everton because obviously the manager and the club believe that he can do a job, and I believe that as well, to be honest with you. Seeing him on Monday night for the first time, Sunday night, Monday morning for the first time, he looked energetic, he looked direct, he put a couple of really good balls in to the box. Obviously that shot was absolutely fantastic, very unlucky to not open his scoring with a worldie on his debut. He's had a couple of, you know, there's been a couple of videos Everton have put out on Twitter where he's looked absolutely amazing as well, scoring worldies in training. So again, just fantastic to hear those words from Andros Townsend, and fantastic to hear him talking so passionately about the football club. And you can tell he's really, really grateful to be here, and you can tell he's grateful to have been given the opportunity by a club of the size of Everton, and hopefully he can repay that opportunity with with constant quality performances and goals. And also obviously talking about Rafael Benitez there, saying that, you know, he's always pointing out the bad parts, he's always pointing out how I can improve, and that's something that we know of Rafael Benitez. There's stories online that I'm sure you can read of some of the best players to ever play under Benitez coming out and saying, you used to have a game where you'd score an hat-trick and you'd come off at the end of it and he'd pull you up and say, why didn't you make that pass in the first half? Why didn't you make that pass on the halfway line? And that's what we want, and that's what Everton have needed, by the way. That's exactly what Everton have needed. Everton have needed a manager who isn't necessarily, he's not satisfied with just an all right performance. He's not satisfied with a game where we don't particularly perform well. He wants the very, very best out of the players, and if the players aren't given the very, very best, he'll let them know. He'll tell them, look, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, you need to be getting in those areas. A manager who demands the very, very best from his playing staff, and Andros Townsend very clearly speaking there that Rafael Benitez is that type of manager. And like I said, we've known all this. If you go and listen to any of Rafael Benitez's ex-players talking about him, they'll all say a similar thing. He's always demanding more, he's always wanting more, and I think that's something that Andros Townsend thrives off, and hopefully the rest of the Everton squad thrive off as well. As we said, Everton did beat Millonarios on penalties. The game ended 1-1 before going to penalties. Everton were 1-0 down in that game, and new signing Damari Gray took the field on the second half and scored the equaliser, albeit it was a penalty. Good bit of play by Everton, nice ball threaded through. Nathan Broadhead took it round the goalkeeper. It was brought down. Goalkeeper, for some reason, tried to claim that it wasn't a foul when it was a blatant foul, and Damari Gray had the bottle and the confidence and the responsibility to go and pick that ball up 15-20 minutes into his Everton debut and go, no, do you know what, I'm taking this, I'm having this one, I'll score this one. And spoke yesterday on the game review about this. There's a fine line, isn't there, in those types of situations, because as Evertonians, we've seen those types of situations go wrong. We've seen Ross Barkley do a similar thing and then miss the penalty. We've seen Kevin Morales do a similar thing and then miss the penalty. But Damari Gray, considering he was 10 or 15 minutes into his debut as an Everton player, having that confidence, having that belief in himself, having that sort of responsibility to go, no, do you know what, I'm taking this penalty. He didn't win it, so it's not like the classic, if you win it, you take it. He didn't win it. Nathan Broadhead won it. I think Anthony Gordon picked the ball up first, but he didn't. He went over and he went, no, I'm having this. And to be fair to him, he took it, and it was an absolutely brilliant penalty. He scored his first Everton goal on his debut to get Everton back into the game, and then obviously the game went on to penalties, and he scored his penalty in the shootout as well, another very good penalty. But not only that, throughout the game he was exciting to watch. He played in a sort of number 10 role at times. He did drift out to the wing, but obviously he'd come on at half time, and You know, as I've just said, Andros Townsend was very interesting to watch in the first half. He was direct, he was getting down the wing, throwing balls in, obviously had the shot on the left. But Damari Gray as well was very exciting to watch. He was running at players, he was taking players on, he was beating players for pace. And let's not forget as well, again, something to take into consideration was this game was played in 32-degree heat in Florida, so it wasn't like that, you know, they were playing in the regular conditions. Players were playing in the regular conditions as to what they would be at home. They were playing in extreme heats, certainly extreme conditions that they wouldn't be used to. And Damari Gray he looked like he wanted to get on the ball. He wanted that responsibility, like I said. He wanted to take control, pick the ball up, move with it, win fouls. He got in a couple of really good areas. I think he tried to get a shot away at one point as well, but it was blocked by the defender. And like I said, he looked lively, he looked exciting. And I know it's only early days and it's only one pre-season game and we can't judge anything from one pre-season game. But if we can, like I said, if we can get that type of performance out of Damari Gray week in, week out, we can get that energy, that intensity, that, you know, that confidence in him and in playing and enjoying himself, playing with confidence and enjoying himself, then I think we could have a real player on our hands and ultimately a massive bargain on our hands as well. I thought he really impressed when he come on Sunday night. And then, of course, the other Everton debutant of the night was Asmir Begovic. He played the entire 90 minutes of the game, including the penalty shootout. Made a couple of really good saves throughout the game. Don't think he was at blame for the goal, to be honest with you. I think it'd be really harsh to blame him for the goal. It was poor defending by Everton. Nobody really marking their men in the box, and the lad ended up getting a free header, and then the rebound ended up bouncing off him and going in the back of the net. But I thought throughout the game, like I said, Asmir Begovic performed well. He made a couple of really good saves, you know, tipping the ball out for a corner on a couple of occasions, standing strong as well. And obviously he was the hero come the penalty shootout. Probably should have dived more to his right a couple of more times, or to his left, because that's pretty much where every penalty went, and he kept diving the other side. But ultimately he saved one, you know, in the first 5, and then of course, like I said, saved the final penalty and scored his penalty as well. So ultimately becomes the hero in Everton's Florida Cup triumphant. So ultimately, and to conclude this sort of segment of the video, I thought all 3 signings were very impressive on Sunday night. Again, it's only pre-season, it's only the first game, but I thought they all made an impact and they were all very positive. Other players who obviously performed: James Rodriguez, Moise Keane, Alex Iwobi, obviously John Joe Kenny, Seamus Coleman, Ben Godfrey, Anthony Gordon, Nathan Broadhead, Joe Anderson, all featured. Lewis Gibson as well, of course, Mason Holgate, all featured in the game. Tom Davis, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan, and yeah, you know, there was a couple of decent performances. It was the typical sort of pre-season, trying to get fitness up and sort of focusing more on the fitness of the players rather than the actual quality on the pitch, and there wasn't many standout performers, was there really? But look, we got the win and we won the cup, so who cares? Onto some transfer rumours now. There has been a couple of rumours over the last few days or so, which I certainly think are worth talking about. According to Corriere dello Sport via Sport Witness, Everton have the chance to sign AC Milan ace Rafael Lau for just £25 million this summer. Jorge Mendes is working to place Lau in the Premier League and this summer, and has found interest from Wolves and Everton. If I'm being honest, I don't see this one happening. I think Rafael Lau is an absolutely fantastic player, to be fair. I think he's very talented. Obviously, he'd be a striker. He'd come in as a striker. Whether he'd provide backup for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it'd be a bit of a mad question, because if you're signing a striker for €25 million, £20 million, certainly, sorry, £20 million, certainly given Everton's current financial situation with the financial regulations and FFP, we're not really in a position to sign a backup striker for £20 million. As much as we might need another striker to give Dom a little bit of, you know, competition, or maybe come in when Dominic Calvert-Lewin needs a little bit of a rest. I know obviously we've got Moise Keane at the moment, but we don't know, you know, what his future will hold at the football club. I just can't see Everton spending that much money on that position, to be honest with you. If it was a right back or a right winger, then maybe, yeah. But I think Everton have got a very tight pot of money, and they're going to need to, you know, be very clever in this transfer window. Obviously, this is all assuming that, you know, we don't make any other player sales. Let's be honest, we all hope that, you know, a couple of players within the squad are sold and moved on, and we end up recouping a little bit of money back from them, as well as the wages, and maybe PSG will come in with a bid for Moise Keane later on in the transfer window, and he'll move on, and we'll have a little bit more freedom and a little bit more money to spend. But at this current moment, as good as Rafael Lau is, and as much as I'd love him in Everton, and as exciting as I think he'd be, I just don't see us paying that money now. Certainly when we still haven't, you know, solved the issue at right back, and we probably still could do with another right winger as well. You're then also looking at you know, centre midfielder. Do we need another centre midfielder, especially if you're looking at thinking on the likes, moving on the likes of Gomez and Delph. Centre back, of course, there's a decision to be made there. So, for as much as I'd like Rafael Lau, I don't particularly believe this rumour too much. However, I do believe that Jorge Mendes is probably trying to get him a move to the Premier League. I do believe that Jorge Mendes is probably trying to, you know, put a couple of teams out there. Maybe Everton are being used as one of those teams to throw the scent out there to bring the attention to Rafael Lau from other Premier League clubs. The next rumour is coming from 90 Min, and they have said that Everton, Southampton, Newcastle and West Ham are all keeping tabs on Manchester United defender Phil Jones, who is said to be available to leave for a free this summer. Yeah, not really much I can say about this one, to be honest with you. Not really much I can say about this one. There's a couple of reasons as to why I don't think the Phil Jones transfer makes much sense. One of them is that he's kicked the ball probably twice in the last 2 years because he's constantly injured. He's constantly got injury issues, which obviously doesn't suit Everton whatsoever. And secondly, he's absolutely pony. He's not a very good footballer. So I really, really don't understand why Everton would be interested in bringing in a player who, A, is massively injury prone and will spend the majority of his time at the football club picking up a wage and not offering anything on the footballing pitch. And also, to add to that, is not very good anyway. It'd be different if Phil Jones was like this unbelievable world-class defender and you were taking a risk on bringing him in for the experience, and, you know, he was going to come in, and although he might be injured often, he's got experience, and when he plays, he's a top-quality defender. You're effectively bringing in a lad who, for the most part, will probably spend a lot of his time on the injury table with the physio, getting paid probably, you know, upwards of £60,000-70,000 a week, and even when he's fit, he's still not anywhere near good enough to get in the Everton team. For me, I look at Everton's current centre-backs and I think Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey, I think they're number 1 and 2. I think they should be our starting centre-backs next season. You're then looking at a Michael Keane and a Mason Holgate. Okay, they mightn't be perfect. Michael Keane, quite up and down. You know, one week he's absolutely unbelievable, the next week he struggles. Same with Mason Holgate, really. To be fair, needs to find that consistency. But even those two are still a lot better than Phil Jones, in my opinion. And then you look at some of the younger players, Jared Branthwaite, you're looking at Lewis Gibson, even Reece Welsh, young 17-year-old Reece Welsh, all, for me, much better defenders, or certainly make more sense to bring those players into the first team rather than bringing in a Phil Jones on a ridiculous wage to just practically clog up the wage bill. That's the type of thing we need to be avoiding. We need to be getting rid of the players in the squad that are clogging up the wage bill, not bringing more players into the squad that are going to clog up the wage bill. So I don't think the Phil Jones deal makes any sense whatsoever. And to be honest, I don't really think Everton are interested in Phil Jones, to be honest with you. I think it was just a nonsense transfer rumour. Again, probably his agent trying to throw his name out there to Premier League clubs to try and get the sense to bring him in the summer. And then the final transfer rumour is again coming from 90 Min, and they have said that Everton are showing an interest in Bayer Leverkusen forward Leon Bailey, and a host of other Premier League clubs are also interested. Again, this one doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Leon Bailey is obviously a fantastic winger for Bayer Leverkusen. Really, really good player, and a player that a lot of Evertonians, I know Baz from Toffee TV massively is flying the Leon Bailey flag, and including myself, I'd love Leon Bailey at Everton. I think he'd be absolutely fantastic. He's quick, he's skillful, he scores goals, he gets assists, he's creative, he can beat a man, he's at a decent age as well, and I just think he'd be absolutely perfect for what Everton need right now. Right winger, he'd come in, obviously he'd allow you like your Townsends and your Damari Grays to become squad players, which is what we all thought they would be when they signed. But the reality of the situation is Aston Villa have heavily been linked with Leon Bailey over the last couple of days or so. There's strong rumours coming out of Germany and various other sources saying that Aston Villa are in a better situation than Everton are currently in regards to the Bailey deal. I think Aston Villa are probably in a better situation than Everton are in regards to FFP, to be honest with you, and that's probably why those rumours are coming out. I think Aston Villa will sell Jack Grealish this summer. So if you're an Aston Villa fan and you're watching and you don't like to hear that, I'm sorry, but I think it's nailed on. You simply can't be buying Buendia for 40 odd million, you know, Leon Bailey for 30 odd million, whatever it is. You've spent about 300 million over the last 2 or 3 summers. You can't be doing that without a significant sale, and unfortunately for Villa, the only player that's going to bring in that significant amount of money is Jack Grealish, so I don't think you'll see Jack Grealish in an Aston Villa shirt next season, but that means, you know, that's a bad thing for Everton effectively, because that means they've then got that financial freedom to go out and spend, you know, the money on Leon Bailey. And I suppose the Leon Bailey deal sort of falls down to him as a player, and also Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen might be saying, well, look, we want £15 million up front for Leon Bailey, and then you can pay the rest of the fee over the course of 2 or 3 years. And Everton might only be able to offer Aston Villa £5 million up front, and then the rest over the course of 2 or 3 years. I don't know. Whereas Aston Villa might be able to go, yeah, we can offer you 18, 19, 20 million up front, no bother whatsoever. So, and again, that mightn't be the situation. That's just me, you know, guessing and throwing things out there, but that could possibly be what's going on at the moment. And, you know, hopefully not. One thing I would say is, in terms of the two clubs, let's be honest, very similar. Aston Villa are a massive club as well. In terms of league position, we're very similar. I think obviously Everton are a bigger club than Aston Villa, but again, Leon Bailey, looking from the outside coming in, wants to move to the Premier League. He's looking at Everton and Villa. Probably doesn't see much difference there. One thing I would say that probably goes Everton's way is the manager. I think obviously Leon Bailey will be a lot more familiar with Rafael Benitez than he will be with Dean Smith, and hopefully that works in Everton's favour. But look, that's irregardless. Regardless of that, that would assume or mean that, you know, Everton and Aston Villa both have bids accepted for Leon Bailey, or both meet Bayer Leverkusen's expectation, and then obviously it becomes down to the player to make that decision. This might be a situation where Everton just simply can't afford the upfront payment, or can't afford the money that you know, Bayer Leverkusen are wanting, and therefore weigh out the equation. I don't know if that is the case. I hope that isn't the case, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But Everton are certainly interested in Leon Bailey. We know that. That's not nothing new. Everton have watched them for a couple of years now and have had a strong interest in him for the last couple of seasons. But as the old saying goes, I'm interested in driving a Ferrari to work tomorrow, but I'm never going to drive a Ferrari to work tomorrow, because A, I haven't got the money to order a Ferrari, and B, I haven't got a driver's license. So Everton can be interested in whoever they like. I'm interested in having a Ferrari. I ain't going to get one. Hopefully that's not the case with Everton. Hopefully Everton do get Leon Bailey, because it will be an absolutely unbelievable signing. But we'll wait and see how that one progresses over the next coming days or so. I'm sure we'll hear more about that over the next coming days. And hopefully, like I said, Everton can muster up the funds to be able to, you know, go to Bayer Leverkusen and ultimately make that signing, and hopefully they can do that before Aston Villa do. And then final bit of information from today's video is that Hummel released a teaser earlier on today regarding Everton's new third kit. There was a little video put out there. It's on our Twitter now. If you haven't seen it, go over to our Twitter at MightyBluesYT and you'll be able to see that. The date on the teaser is tomorrow, 28th of the 7th, 2021. So look out for that. Not sure what time, not sure what the kit looks like, not sure what it's going to be like, but hopefully we'll hear more tomorrow, or I'm sure we'll hear something tomorrow, because there was a date put on the teaser video by Hummel, and I don't think they just put a random date on it for the sake of it. But if you haven't seen that teaser video, go and check it out. It is on our Twitter now, and hopefully we'll have a bit more information about the new kit tomorrow as well. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. We'll get involved with as many of them as possible, and if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Massive thank you for watching. We'll be live tomorrow morning as well, bright and early, so don't forget to join us for that one. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.